All right. Hi everyone. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to all of you out there. Thought I would do an uplifting chat video. Some things that I wanted to talk about as far as the ride share driving goes. Right now I've been predominantly just a Lyft driver for almost the last 3 months. I did decide just this week to go ahead and add Uber. Got the finalization all done to set up my account. Submitted the vehicle registration that they would not accept back in February when me and my husband were trying to initially start the rideshare driving with them. So my husband has to make like these plastic things, so then that way they hang from our car instead of like sticking the sticker right on the window, because we don't want all that like sticky gunk on our car. So he is going to get that ready and finish his account information so that we will be ready to start driving also for Uber starting this week. So I know some of my regular subscribers may not have heard about this, and the reason why I titled this video "What's My Name" is because there was a very, very sad thing that happened to a young woman, and I don't know all the details. She was a Uber passenger. Very sad to say, she was killed. And, you know, trying to be respectful as to, you know, the very delicate nature of what happened to her. She had ordered an Uber ride, and she just hopped in a car that, from my understanding, the driver of the vehicle that ended up murdering her wasn't even a ride share driver. So number one, while it's very, very sad that she lost her life, this kind of accident, or this kind of thing, I mean, it was murder regardless, could have been avoided if she had just been paying attention. If she would have looked at the vehicle, looked at her phone, because in the app for both Uber and Lyft, it will tell you your driver's name, it will show you a picture of the vehicle, and it will give you their license plate number. And so she checked none of this. She just hopped in the car. I mean, she just must have thought, you know, that this was, you know, her ride. She hopped in the car, and the man had very evil, wicked intentions, and he took her, murdered her. And if you know, and I'm just going by memory of what I read, they found her in a field. So this is very, very, very sad. And me and other passengers, we've talked about this recently, and I've had several passengers, before I can even ask them, you know, are you so-and-so? Because I always ask before, you know, as they're getting into the car, I have their name. And I ask them, are you John or are you Sue? Because it tells me. Well, what passengers have been asking me recently is, what's my name? And of course, as the driver, I would automatically have that information. Now, if I was just somebody posing as a driver, I would have no clue as to what their name is. And I know my husband has also been asking passengers, you know, what's my name? And so that's why I titled this video, "What's My Name?" or, you know, this live hangout. Because both driver and passenger should be taking more precaution to make sure that you are getting in the right vehicle. So it's I mean, it's sad, that it had to take the murder of a young woman to bring to the attention of these rideshare companies, just how serious this is. And I'll let you know something that happened to my husband. This was last week. He goes to pick up a passenger, and this was later at night when bars are open and all of that, because that's the type of rides he does. He handles that, so I don't have to. Well, he asked, are you Steve or are you Joe? Whoever the passenger's name was. He says, are you so and so? Guy hops in, yeah, come on, let's go. Well, about 2 minutes down the road, his real passenger calls him on the phone. And oh, my husband was upset. And I won't repeat the words that he said, but he's like, you've got 2 minutes to get out of my car or I'm calling the police. And he had to say that about 2 times before the guy finally got out of the car. I mean, and my husband, he could certainly take care of himself, but he and I talked, and he's like, Wendy, what would you have done if that had happened to you? And I'm like, that would have just absolutely freaked me out. And he's like, I wish we would have had the mace, because I probably would have sprayed him in the face with mace, and he never would have done that again. And I mean, the guy was drunk, and it either was he thought he was going to steal somebody else's rideshare ride, or just kind of ha ha ha. Well, my husband didn't find that funny at all, because he's like, what if he had a gun and he put a gun to my head, and was gonna go off and murder me or something. And so that's why it's very, very important that both driver and passenger take every precaution when using these rideshare platforms. Now, I mean, I could be just all terrified and be like, okay, I'm never driving again. I'm not going to do this again, but I still, every day when I'm driving, because this is my income, I still pray and I say, Lord, help me, keep me safe, keep me awake, don't let me get, groggy or sleepy and stuff. And so I still stand in my faith, knowing that, as long as I'm doing what I need to do, be aware, be alert, take the necessary precautions to protect myself. Anything that would be out of my control, I know God's got this. God's got my back. He's going to protect me and take care of me. And so, if there's any other rideshare people out there that might see my video, give me your thoughts. What are some things that you guys have noticed since this murder has happened? Are you getting people, vocalizing about this, being more cautious, asking, what's my name? And are you asking your passengers before they, really get in your car, what's my name? And I think it's a great idea. It's something that we need to be doing, both as passenger and as driver, to be saying, what's my name? Because only the real passenger will know. Now, what do you do if you get, somebody ordering a ride for somebody else? Well, if you are a passenger and you're ordering a ride for somebody else, you better make sure that you let that person know the driver's name, the driver's make and model, and probably their license plate number, because just how much information a driver is willing to take, I suppose, would be up to them. I mean, if I wanted to be really technical, I could say, okay, what's my name? And if they don't know my name, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you a ride, because only the real passenger should know my name, because it's right there in your app. Okay. I could be a stickler like that. I could be, and especially if it's somebody that, somebody else, ordered the ride for them, if they don't know my name, I could maybe ask, okay, what did the person tell you? Just try to validate, as best as you can. I could even call the passenger and say, okay, I just need to confirm that you indeed did order a ride for so and so. I mean, just do everything that you can to really, really take those extra steps of precaution to not only protect yourself, but also to protect your passengers. Want to talk about personal power zones. I know there's some people are really upset about it. Now, this just rolled out in Sacramento. Basically, it replaces the power surging. And usually what the power surging used to be is certain areas of town that would have like really, really high demand, but not enough drivers to accommodate the demand. Well, they would add anywhere from like 100 to, I've seen up to 350% on top of the normal fare that it costs a passenger. Well, what they've done with these personal power zones is they have gotten rid of these surges and made like your own individual little surge area. Now, like this happened to me yesterday when I was driving. I was driving in Roseville. I had dropped somebody off and I'm just there. Well, all of a sudden, the little purple box pulls up with the pink box in the middle. The pink is like, you want to get in that area and stay in that area, because then you're guaranteed a bonus with your next ride. And so as I'm trying to find a place to pull over and just sit there and wait, the amount keeps going up and up. It started at like $2 and something, and it would go up like every few seconds. It would go up like 3 cents, and it maxed out at like $4.80. And so I'm just sitting in a parking lot. I'm watching some Christian videos, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere until I get this next ride request. And I think I had to wait maybe 10-15 minutes in all total. And so then I picked up the passenger, took them to their destination, and yeah, I did get that $4.80 on top of what just the regular normal fare would be. And these can pop up depending on where you're at and where the demand is at. Now, there's been days where I haven't seen the personal power zone at all. I've seen it twice, just this last week. I think I saw it, my very first fare, I think it was last Monday, was a personal power zone. I was downtown, and so I just pulled over and parked, and that one gave me, I believe, like a $7 and some odd amount bonus on top of what just the normal fare was. So that was nice. But a lot of drivers are upset about this, because it seems like just another way of cutting income to the drivers. So any drivers out there who may be watching this or will watch this, and these personal power zones are rolled out in your city, give me your feedback. Let me know what you think of them. Has it helped increase your income, or have you noticed that compared to like when you might hit a surge, I mean, is it plus or minus? So those were just a couple things I wanted to talk about. Trying to think if there's anything else. Um, yeah, so, my husband, it seems like every night when he comes home, and he usually gets home early in the morning, like between 2 and 3 a.m., uh, you know, we'll sit and talk, and, he'll let me know how his night went. And, he tells me some of the weird stories that happens to him, like the one time when, that man just got in his car and he wasn't even the passenger, but said he was, and then the real passenger calls him up on the phone. So, oh, and I think I said that I'm going to be starting to drive for Uber this week after my husband gets the stickers made up so that we can place them where they're supposed to be in the car. So, I'm not quite sure, how I'll do with Uber. I know this week I didn't make as much as I have other weeks. It was really, really slow. I mean, there would be just hours and hours that I just, sat, watching a video or something because there's just nobody needing rides. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, while it's slow on Lyft, maybe go ahead and add Uber, because it may not be slow with Uber. There could be people, that only specifically want to use Uber, and I could be getting those fares. So, gonna just see how it goes. Probably what I'll do until I get used to the Uber app, because it is a little bit different than the Lyft app. Is maybe take the morning and just strictly have the Uber app open until I start getting some rides and getting familiar with, how Uber works, and then maybe in the afternoon switch over and do just Lyft. And eventually, when I really feel comfortable and I get the hang of it, then I will probably have both apps open at the same time. And I think there's an app, at least my husband said that there's an app that, like, when one pings, it will automatically shut the other one off. So we'll have to see if we can find what app that is. If you know what app it is, put in the comments for me, please, the name of the app, so that me and my husband can find it. We're planning our anniversary trip back to the Bay. I think it's going to be the 8th through the 12th of May. And we do want to work while we're down there. Obviously, our anniversary is May 10th. We will have been remarried for 6 years. And so we're going to my favorite fondue restaurant called the Melting Pot. Haven't had fondue in probably like 5 years. I just love the fondue. But I want to be familiar enough with Uber that when we do go to the Bay and we're working the Bay area, that I'll be able to do both Uber and Lyft. So yeah, keep us in prayer as we get ready to go do this trip. We're still checking out like motel prices, just to see make sure that we get the best rates and everything. I have a few things that I absolutely have to have in a hotel or a motel, just because of my health conditions, and so taking that into consideration. We're already coming into the summer, which involves summer rates, which are unfortunately higher. But I'm really looking forward to it. I had a lot of fun I guess it was last month when me and Robert went to the Bay for 3 nights and 4 days. I had a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed driving in the Bay Area. I mean, there were some areas in the Bay like Oakland. Their streets are horrible, just horrible, horrible. I mean, I couldn't drive more than 5 miles per hour because there were so many ruts and potholes um, that to go any faster was going to like destroy my car. And so, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. So I'm really looking forward to going back next month from the 8th through the 12th. So please keep us in prayer for that. Trying to think if there's any more Lyft news that I wanted to talk about. I haven't really put myself in airport queue too much. What I did notice, though, because it's just kind of like by trial and error, is when I get a fare that's an airport ride. This has happened almost like every single time. There's maybe been a few times where it hasn't happened. And I think it's this way for a reason. I'm not in queue. I drop them off and I end the ride, and then I'm not even putting myself into the airport queue. Well, immediately, or like within a few minutes as I'm driving out of the airport, I get an airport fare to pick somebody up at the airport and, take them to their destination. And at first it like confused me because I read the rules. They're real strict on that. You have to be in the airport queue, and you're in this line, and you have to go only to this very specific area to wait. And as far as picking up, you can only pick up at very distinct areas at the airport. And so when I would be getting these ride requests right after dropping off a passenger at departures, I was like, well, why am I getting those rides? I mean, shouldn't they automatically be going to those that are in queue? And the only thing that I can think of is they give that automatically to people who are dropping a passenger off. I mean, maybe they look at those drivers as kind of like the top of the line. Whereas, like, if I just wanted to go to the airport, put myself in queue, I didn't have a passenger that I had to drop off first, that's when you have to get in line. So that's kind of what I think is going on, because that's happened to my husband too. He doesn't have very many drop-offs, but every now and then he does get somebody that he does have to drop off, and he gets a ping right away, and it's to go pick up somebody from the airport. And so I think that's what's going on. I may email Lyft and just ask them to clarify that. For me, I don't think it's worth my time to sit in queue at the airport unless there's like maybe five people or less already there, because usually I've had to wait in queue for like over 2 hours, and then it may end up only being a $10 fare. Whereas if I had just been, driving out of there and just going until I got the first ping, I mean, it could have just stacked up ride requests like one after another, if it's a busy day, and I could have made a lot more than $10. So I know some people may swear by the airport queue that they make way more money, waiting those several hours. Not me. I mean, it's like we're on such a limited schedule because me and my husband have to share one vehicle, that I'm just not bothering with it. Eventually, me and my husband are currently saving up so that we can get a couple more cars. And by doing that, we will be able to qualify to drive the higher end Lyft and Uber passengers, when they need a bigger car because they have, more passengers. So we're looking into like maybe a minivan or just a bigger car than what our little subcompact car does. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about the recent very very sad story with her name was Samantha, and the murder that took place with an Uber passenger. This was like a couple of weeks ago, I believe. Very very sad. I would ask that please keep her family in prayer. It's heartbreaking that it happened, and like I said, and I mean this in no disrespect towards her or her family, but if she had just been more cautious and really examined the car to see, okay, is this my driver? Number one, he wasn't an Uber driver, so there was no Uber sticker in the front of the window or in the back of the window. That's something, it's a must. um you have to have that. Now I'll show you this. Just got this. This is called an amp. I had to give 250 rides. I completed that in my first month. And what it does, it is the front of it will light up so that when you arrive, their name is supposed to scroll here. And then on the back, it'll greet me. Like when I plug it in, it'll greet me. It'll say, "Hello, Wendy." And when they get in the car, it's going to greet them. And it says other things like "let's rock and roll" or something like that. But this is supposed to match the color of their app. And so that is it's a safer way for them to be able to know, okay, this is my driver, this is my ride. And so I really love this. I really really do. The only bad thing I have to say about this is it only stays charged for like not even 3 hours, and then you get this thing that pops up like critical amp battery, or your battery is low. And so we bought these it's like 3 different kind of chargers. There's like an iPhone charger in here. This takes just a regular standard charger, and then we've got a charger for our phones. So this is handy. It's good to have for when you have passengers that come in and they ask, do you have an iPhone charger, or do you have this other kind of charger? That way you can provide that service to your passenger when you're getting them to their destination. So, all right, well, again, happy Easter to everyone. I'm not sure. I haven't heard back from Bill yet if he's doing his TED show today. If he is, I plan to get off work a little bit early so that I can do TEDs with him. Otherwise, I'm probably going to drive till like 5 or 6 tonight, because this week was like really really slow. It like really aggravated me. Now yesterday I was extremely busy. I had no downtime unless I turned the app off. Otherwise, I mean, it was just like one ride after another. I gave my most rides in a day yesterday than that I ever have. I gave 23 rides yesterday, and that was about a 9-hour day being logged on, according to what the app said. So far today, I've given 5 rides, and I've been logged off for about an hour or so. So that's 5 rides within like maybe 2.5 hours, something like that. So better get going, guys. Need to get logged back on, try to get as many rides as I can to close out the work week. Our pay period ends at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, so trying to have as much on this check as possible. Then I'm going to be working 7 days straight starting tomorrow, so I'm trying to mentally gear up for that. But possibly if Brother Bill is doing his TEDs, I'll see you guys this afternoon on his the Ecclesia Doctrine channel here on YouTube. So, all right, everyone, happy Easter. Be blessed, and please be safe. If you are both driver and passenger, what's my name? What's my name? Be safe out there.